Hello and welcome back to Yokai Footy Shorts for another week. My name is Megan Waters and this week I'm joined by a very special guest, Tyrone Winder. Welcome to Yokai Footy Shorts for the first time.
Oh, thank you for having me, Megsy. I could never fill the shoes of the great Andrew Cracker, but I'm happy to be here nonetheless.
Well, let's get stuck straight into it. Some of the greatest of rivals faced off this weekend and are made for a tantalising weekend of football. The Battle of the Bridge, the showdown, one of the great battles at the MCG on Friday night between Carlton and Collingwood, as well as the Q Clash, which I think is where I want to start today, Tyrone.
Yeah, it was a good choice, the Sunday slot for the Q Clash, Brisbane and Gold Coast, because there was a little bit of magic at the Gabba. Look at their forwards doing the craft here. Joe Danaher with the tap down, but Harry Sharp with the absolutely amazing finish. A banana in the banana state, you cannot deny that. But I really want to highlight Brisbane's tackling pressure because every time there was a clearance or an inside 50, it seemed like they had 2 or 3 maroon jerseys around them. And when you play a little bit more of an experienced side, it can be the point of difference. You can try to shock them a little bit and force those turnovers. But another story, Logan Morris, a kid who played VFL earlier in the day, got the call up and was supposedly at a McDonald's drive-through on his way to the Gabba. He got 6 nuggets and then also got 6 points to his name as well.
I love it, a little cheeky Macca's drive-through. But look, that win didn't come without some terrible losses, unfortunately, some big injuries we see.
Yeah, Megsy, unfortunately Starcevich went out before the game and then we would go on to lose McCarthy to the knee. We would also have Ainsworth getting a big knee in the back of the head, causing the concussion, a really rough one there. And then Gardner with the awkward landing as well. So they're a bit of a depleted list at the moment with the guys like Kitty Coleman as well still out. So it's definitely going to be a next man up mentality for their list. See there that can bring in and be the point of difference for them. But if you're Brisbane, you just got to keep pushing forward.
Yep, let's hope for a speedy recovery for all of those men who are down. Now I want to get to the showdown next because it was a very special win for them as they say goodbye to one of this league's greats in Rory Sloane. Now I know we've talked about this one man a lot over the last couple of weeks, but it is because for good reason. Isaac Rankin, another standout. He was incredible at the weekend, brother.
Oh, he's not afraid of a bit of airtime, Isaac Rankin, and he's honestly the point of difference for the Adelaide Crows. His ability to create something out of nothing in the forward, but also to be able to push up as an extra midfielder and do his work up the ground here. You can see him moving through traffic, taking on the bounce, taking the game on, and just being that difference maker for Adelaide. When he's on, Adelaide are on, so it's no surprise that they were able to get over Port Adelaide on the weekend.
Now it is time to get to the MCG for Friday night footy. Nearly 90,000 there, but it was one man who stole the show, the man of the moment, Nick Daicos, which is why he is this week's Yokai Moment.
Oh, Nick Daicos, Nick Daicos, Nick Daicos. It was all about him on the weekend, and for good reason, because on an oval that was full of superstars, Nick Daicos was the star that shined the brightest. He did it in absolutely every way possible and did everything in his power to get Collingwood on the line, including Megsy icing the game, kicking the game-winning goal and breaking the hearts of the Carlton faithful there. So well deserving of the Yokai Moment is Nick Daicos.
Well, speaking of the Carlton faithful, we were actually lucky to catch up with Zach Williams a little bit earlier last week. Myself and Andy have been working on a little project called Talkin' It Up, which is a podcast that will be released this week. You can catch it on all of the AFL platforms, so make sure you tune in to that. From Friday night footy at the MCG, we go to Saturday night footy at the MCG, and the D's hand the Geelong Cats their first loss of the season.
Yeah, it was a bit of a return to form for Melbourne. Guys like Keziah Pickett were able to snag 2 goals. Their skipper, Max Gawn, led by example, did everything around the hit-out contest and then went on to kick an absolute 60-metre bomb as well, leading by example and able to hand Geelong their first loss of the year. And when Bailey Fritsch is kicking goals like this, it's absolutely no wonder you lost. So if you're Geelong, you just take it in stride, shrug your hands, get into the film room, come back next week.
Now we're 8 rounds in, we're getting a pretty clear indication of where the ladder sort of sits. I want to know at this point, who is your Premiership favourite?
Well, I just bagged them out, but I actually think Geelong is my Premiership favourite, and that is because of one man and one man only, Jeremy Cameron. There's no one quite like him in the AFL. I get excited just talking about him, Megsy, because his size, his speed, his agility and his goal sense is an absolute difference maker in a league that is full of stars. If Jeremy Cameron is on, so are the Geelong Cats. He's just the kind of guy that you want to have on your side. There's only one person really close to him, and that's Toby Green, but even then, Jeremy Cameron's on the more experienced side.
Oh, I like it. It is certainly going to make for a very exciting September. Now, round 8 saw the coming together of all 18 clubs to stand in solidarity and pay tribute to the women who have tragically lost their lives at the hands of gender-based violence. It's an incredibly important conversation that we're having right now, and kudos to the AFL for this initiative.
Yeah, it's good that the AFL did this because we get to spark that conversation, Megs, because I think we as men, we need to be a lot more accountable. And if you see someone who's creating an unsafe environment, call it out.
Yeah, well said, brother. Thank you for that. And thank you for joining us on Yokai Footy Shorts. We will be back next week to unpack all of round 9, so we will see you then.